Naming variables in the Python programming language. Introduction. This tutorial will aim to teach us about the correct standards to employ when creating variables in the Python programming language. We will be introduced to interesting facts that pertain to the topic of variables in the Python programming language, and these will effectively boost the professionality of your Python scripts. We are aware that variables may be thought of as being containers in which we may store a value for future use. Now, let us learn more concepts that deal with the topic of variables. Naming variables. I mentioned to you in an earlier tutorial that before using a variable, you have to create the variable, and creation of the variable involved three steps. Number one, giving the variable a name. Number two, using an assignment operator to assign a value to the variable. And number three, providing a piece of information for the variable to hold or store. In this section of the tutorial, we are focused on the first step, that is, naming a variable. When naming a variable in Python programming language, number one, the variable name needs to be concise and logical. Number two, the variable name cannot begin with a number nor special character. Number three, the use of special characters in a variable name is prohibited. Special characters such as percentage sign, dollar sign, caret sign, and so on. Number 4. The variable name may consist of alphanumeric characters. This means the letters A to Z lowercase, A to Z uppercase, and 0 to 9 integers. Numbers may appear anywhere in the variable name but not at the start, that is the beginning. Number 5. The Python programming language and therefore variables are case sensitive. Number 6. A variable name cannot have spaces in it. In the event of requiring to join two or more words, underscores may be used in the variable name. Number 7. A very commonly used notation for naming variables in Python is called camel notation. I will show it to you as we move along in the course. Number 8. All Python keywords are reserved. This means that you cannot provide your variable with the same name as a reserved keyword. Examples of legal variable names in Python. Examples of illegal variable names in Python. Common notation for Python variables. A commonly used notation for naming Python variables is called camel notation. Camel notation is used in those naming instances in which our variable name is a combination of two or more words. For example, total number of students or tot_num_stud. You see, the two variable names above in orange have been written using the standards of camel notation. As you may have guessed, camel notation is a variable naming notation that involves beginning each new word after the first word in the variable name with a capital letter. Because you see, just as the animal, camel, has a hump on its back, the orientation of the characters due to the capitalized characters resemble the animal, hence camel notation. The alternative to camel notation, snake case. If you are an individual who would like to space their text out in a variable name, you may utilize the very common and acceptable alternative, the underscore, snake case or snake notation. So, if you did not use total number of students or tot_num_stud, you may use total number of students or tot_num_stud. Also, when using the underscore, it is not necessary to capitalize the first letter of each new word. The snake case naming convention requires that each word be separated from the next using an underscore and that no capital letters are used. So essentially, total number of students and tot_num_stud would be accepted as well. I should mention that naming variables is entirely up to you, the programmer. You should use a technique that is understood by you as well as everyone else. Conclusion. With this, we shall end the video and tutorial here. You have effectively gained knowledge about the correct methodology to follow when naming your variables in a Python script. I do hope that you found this tutorial insightful and have new takeaways of the Python programming language. Thank you for your time.